first hello, and before I start playing with these things, yeah, I'm very pleased that I have the opportunity to be here tonight, and I followed the invitation of my friend Veli-Matti Savo. He was export manager from one of the bigger players in the contract furniture field called Martela, company based in Helsinki in Finland. We had the opportunity to develop a quite comprehensive product family together, exactly. It's called the Soft X family for Martela, but I would like to have the thing back if possible. Yeah, thank you very much. No, just these two. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm talking about this chair. I will come to this project later. It's just to give you a first impression. Oh, okay. I have to get used to this thing. All right. When I say we had the opportunity, I'm talking. I'm not talking only about myself. I'm also talking about my partner and lovely wife Julia. She normally she would be here as well, but since 1 year we have a little child, and she decided to stay with the baby. So sorry to say that's me who is going to make the presentation tonight. And this photo is just to show what you are missing. My lecture is divided into 3 parts. I would like to give you some case studies of our design work in our studio, basically chair design, not only, but basically. In the second part, I would like to say some things about actual developments in the contract furniture field. And in the last part, I would give you a little kind of impression of our cooperation with Martela, especially focused on the SoftX project. All right. Let's start with the case studies. The first thing I would like to present to you is a pretty new project. It's called the RIP chair. It's a massive wooden chair made in a, you can say, completely different way. What I still find fascinating with this project is that you have these 2 poles. It works with a totally traditional material, like massive wood is on one hand, and on the other hand, it's about a manufacturing process which is totally new, or still new, you can say. I mean the CNC or computer controlled milling process, like shown on this image. So traditional material meets modern technology. This is what this wooden chair project is about. And it started with a sketch I made in holidays. I was just thinking about cutting a wooden chair, a basic wooden chair, into stripes, into pieces, as something which could be interesting. I was not sure about that, but I made this sketch. Back home, I started doing real drawings, like, okay, if you have this kind of basic wooden chair, how should the cuts look like? How many sections, how many parts, and which kind of rhythm and so on. I did these kind of drawings. And second step was, of course, about how to get the whole thing together, to get a nice chair in the end. And I decided to go for a matter construction inside, which is supposed to be completely hidden inside the massive wood parts, which is a quite tricky thing. And in the end, you need complex wooden parts. And yeah, you see, computer drawings where we were struggling with the construction. And while constructing, and that's the interesting part now, while constructing this kind of abstract idea of a wooden chair, we came to the point that we have to connect the wooden parts of the backrest by some bars. Those parts you see the red arrow marked by the red arrow. And that gives us the idea, if we have cylindric bars, we could reach a flexible backrest in the end in a massive wooden chair, which creates a lot more ergonomic quality and comfort. And that's what turned out in the end. We managed to reach this massive wooden chair with a flexible backrest and an extra kind of comfort in this type of project. And what you see here is the machine where the chair is going to be produced since this year. It's a computer-controlled CNC milling machine. It's almost as big as a human being is, high, of course bigger, but high. You can walk in if you like. And what comes out of this machine is really fascinating, still super fascinating to me. If you look at the wooden parts, they are almost as precise as metal parts are. If you see those images of the wooden ribs, all the joints, the connections, the holes you need to get the construction, sunk in, is a super precise thing, and that's what makes the chair so modern and so different. And I'm still impressed by the opportunity of this technology. And it was super lot of fun to make this chair. Just some impressions of the parts which come out. And what turned out in the end is I think, quite modern and well-working wooden chair. You see it here, presented in Berlin in the Bulthaupt showroom. Bulthaupt is one of the bigger players in kitchen furniture, and they have a big showroom right in the city of the center, and they went for the rib chair as a presentation room for their presentation object for their kitchens. So I think the main character of the rib chair is something you can call hidden intelligence or hidden smartness, and this is something we almost always looking for: how to get things smart, intelligent, but in a hidden way, in a more defensive way. And for this reason, I choose a second project. In this case, I'm talking about a folding table, collapsible table. It's called Mina table, and we developed it together with, again, a Finnish company, a smaller one called Avarte, also based in Helsinki. And that's the way the table works. I would like to ask you to focus your eye on the upper push button. You see those two buttons. Please keep the higher one in your eye, and we'll see you have the opportunity to push it in with a click, and when it's in, you have the opportunity to turn or to swing the whole leg frame. That's the way how it works as a principle. The principle is pretty easy. It's more about getting the right idea, and then it's easy to draw the principle. But the realization of the project was quite challenging again, because what we found out is the whole thing is just safe if you insert a click mechanism to this push button, like click. You know, somebody clicks the button and it stays in, you can pull out your finger, and then the whole thing is totally safe. Okay, and the question was how to get the click mechanism into the frame. And we all know click mechanisms from ball pens. But what you can see immediately is that you have several parts belonging to this mechanism, but in a ball pen there's a lot of space to insert those parts. You don't have the space in this quite small angular piece of the table. So it was pretty challenging to make a constructive proposal to a really tight click mechanism. And this is a drawing we made, and then the first thing we did is we made a 3D print from our data in order to get the parts to find out if the whole work, if the whole thing will work. And we made this test angular piece, and what we found out was at least every third time it worked, which gave us the confidence to say, okay, principally, basically, it can't be wrong. But we are not engineers, so we need somebody who help us to engineer the real parts. And we found a partner, or actually Avate found a partner in Germany who was who did the engineering, and that's what came out in the end. A quite high, quite precise, a quite high amount of precision in the end, and a quite challenging construction. But again, more or less like with a rib chair, totally hidden. It's in the end, it's a quite, you can say residential or domestic kind of home feeling collapsible table. And second and last project I would like to introduce to you as a case study from our studio is a conference chair called Zeno. We did this chair for quite interesting company, a very interesting company in Germany called Wilkan. And this was, it's also with a hidden structure inside, but the approach was a little bit different. I was not playing with constructions or any constructive principles or something. This is briefing based. The product manager of Wilkan one day came over and he invited us to make a proposal for a new type of conference chair. And what he was saying in these days was, you know what? Something has changed in the culture of making conferences, at least in mid-Europe or something. People, they sit together around the table having a conference, and then it's lunch break. They don't go to a restaurant anymore and lose time and stuff. They just order something, some food, they order lunch, and they stay in the room, and they still sit on the same chairs they had the conference on. And the question was, how should a chair look like you can make a conference on and you can have your lunch or your dinner on? A hybrid thing between contract and home spirit. And so it was very much about an image, an aesthetical spirit, this project. And the reason why I show it tonight is that it is quite similar to SoftX. I come to talk to later. It's a totally industrial design chair. So every part, as you can see here, every part comes out of a mold. It's a totally engineered and industrial design project, or it turned out as such a project in the end. But in the beginning, it was just an image. As a real matter of fact, I started with an image. I started with handmade drawings like this. It's just made by hand. There's no constructive idea, nothing. It's just about defining the right spirit, and step by step we found the way how to construct or how to transform this image into a product. That was the main thing with the Zeno project. And it went step by step from 2D drawing to 3D drawing and CNC milling again. But this is, of course, not the manufacturing process in this case. It's the prototyping process. The first aluminium frame was made out of a massive block, CNC milling. There we had it. First prototypes were built. People could sit on the chair and evaluate comfort, visual quality, and stuff. And the company was confident, and they gave their go for the investment into tooling, which was quite high in this case. It was a couple of €100,000 because everything came out of a mold. And as you can see here, it has its own complexity. And a lot of it is also hidden somewhere inside the chair. I just give you some impressions. This is the mold of the male element, the massive aluminum frame. You can imagine that right there in the center of this mold, the hot and liquid aluminum is pushed into the space around and will build the frame when it's frozen. This is the cast manufacturer doing the frames. Just some impressions. This was a quite exciting moment when every part that comes out of a different mold in a different country actually came together, and we stuck the whole thing together and checked out if everything fits and if it works, and that was quite fun. And as you have it quite often in modern factories, the components come from different suppliers, sometimes from different continents, right to the spot where the whole thing is assembled. Here you see the assembling space at Wilkans in Bad Münder in Germany. It has something to do with the fact that the culture or the way how people work together in bigger companies or institutions, it had changed a little bit since maybe the last 10 years. You know, since I think latest since the .com, what we call the .com era, around 2000. You know, when this internet companies were founded, something changed. It was more about installing flat hierarchies. It was about encouraging employees to collaborate. It was about direct communication. Then a couple of years later, wireless workspaces became totally normal, you can say. So, which means that all these appliances are not bound to desks necessarily anymore. So this is a quite dramatic change within the last years. On the other hand, you have an increasing mobility of employees, people, working while traveling around, having their laptop or their smartphones with them, and they work while they are travel, so they are not always in the company. So you have always some empty workplaces, and what companies found out that you could save up to 30% of square meters of place if you work with non-assigned desks. And so this image stands a little bit, I mean, it's not exactly what I'm talking about, but it stands for a new culture of, a more flexible kind of office structure. And what employees want in these open plan offices is 57% better air and 47% more calmness. So with better air, that's a little bit difficult to reach with furniture. But the calmness thing, this is an important issue concerning the furniture. And so I would like to present different types of space-creating furniture. I have to hurry up, I see. So I would like to talk about single-person retreat places, retreat place for small groups, single-person workspace, and a workspace for smaller groups. I think we can. It's just an overview, just an impression. We have single-person retreat places. An allegoric image could be the beach chair, where people recreate, wait, read, where they do digital communication, administrative work and stuff. And we have different solutions on the market for that. So for instance, this is a brand new thing, again from Martela, developed by friends, designers who are friends of us, Office for Ideas in Sweden. One idea, quite straight one, rational one. Then something which is more or less the opposite, deformed by this English colleague. Completely different. It's not straight. It's not rational. It's a little bit. It reminds me a little bit on Grandma's easy chair, standing somewhere on the front porch of a wooden house or something. Then something we did for Offect in Sweden, also not really rational, more an image. It reminds me a little bit on a landscape or something. You can play with colors. Something different. Okay, so what I wanted to show is you have You have a new need for new products, and then you have different designers who do completely different interpretations of these projects for products for fulfilling the new needs. Second one is single person retreat place standing. This is something for digital communication. You know, we have a little bit weird fact that we have the cell phones now, so we abolished the normal the phone groove and the normal telephones. But now we see, okay, the normal phone groove was not too bad. We have this private space. We need to get back to some privacy. So you find some solutions also aesthetically completely different to recreate this privacy needed to have a private communication. Just to give you an overview. Then we have a retreat place for small groups. So here it's about lounging, waiting, or having a collective break. This pavilion could be an allegoric image for that. And we have different products. This is one of the early ones from the Burlek brothers for Vitra. A sofa, which is creating a room. Or two of them creating a room. Cell structures. The basuba. Small room from Affect. It's all about rooms, creating rooms for a small group of people. Works so far. And again, Office for Ideas for Martela Diagonal. Also, somehow a retreat place for small groups. Small groups are sitting together, but they have different spaces. They have their own privacy still on this sofa due to the dividing screen. Then we have this single person workspace, which is quite important in these wide open plain offices. And here it's about concentrated desk work, but it's also about customization of the workspace. You know, people work in open plain offices, but they want to defend or protect their intimacy and their privacy. So how can we handle that? Also pretty different solutions on the market, also weird ones. Just to give you an overview. This is one of the more beautiful things, the colorful things, Face from Martela. Height adjustable table with a toolbox structure somehow, Vitra. And this is probably the project which is most focused on this privacy and individuality. Vitra Sphere, a wooden table with this kind of plastic screen. Workspace for small groups. Martela with a pod sofa, again, Office for Ideas. This is the additional product to the Pod Easy Chair and Pod Sofa. The Vitra Workbase, a little bit more soft. This is more abstract. Affect, I like this quite a lot. It's just standard kind of conference chairs. And the wire create an abstract image of the pavilion. You won't enter easily just the group sitting there. It's like a hidden wall. It's quite smart in my point of view. And this is a more customized thing. This is the headquarter of Adidas, sportswear supplier, with room dividers looking like goal nets. So more customized images. All right. Last but not least, I would like to talk or like to say some things about the SoftX project, our nice cooperation with Martela. It started with a conference chair. It was also briefing based, and we started with a conference chair. But the whole thing turned out in the end as a quite comprehensive product family. Meanwhile, we have sofa, we have lobby chairs, we have lobby table, we have a task chair as well. And I would also like to invite you to check this chair out. We have it here on the stand, 2 of them. Please feel the quality and feel the seat comfort. It's a really balanced product. And this is one of the early drawings. I'm not kidding. This is one of the first drawings. From the very beginning on, it was about creating a really big product family and making this chart of how can we get a really striking toolbox of different seating furniture solutions. This is the basic core of the Softex project. Also a totally industrial design thing. Foam coming out of the mold, so seams and everything is perfectly fitting. The single products on single images. Easy chair, sofa, side table. The lounge family as a family. Fast chair with tilt mechanism. Then also completely, depending on surface, in leather, completely different spirit, also fitting for restaurants. And last but not least, of course, the main task of the chair as a conference table. I have to say thank you very much for your interest, and yeah, spasiba, and thank you very much.